And we're live. Welcome to Tint Wisdom number 29. My name's Eric. If this is the first time watching, thank you for joining. This has been an amazing, long, and the most fun week of Tint Wisdom in history. If you saw the video we did with Rick on Tuesday and then the one we did with Ralph yesterday, 5 hours of video, over 800 comments. Thank you all for joining in and participating. It really kicked off last week with Chris Queen as our guest. Everybody was participating in the comments, and it really just changes the whole dynamic of these live streams. So I just really, really want to thank everybody. I'm super energized by it. I'm excited by it. And I just feel like I just want to do a Tint Wisdom about 7 days a week. And so who knows? We'll see. So you may notice I'm in the center today. I'm typically not in the center. You might be expecting someone next to me. Here's the plan for today. So Austin Cook from the Tinstitute is somebody we work with, someone I really respect and I support, and they support Tint Wiz as well. And today I had a chance to actually sit down with him earlier today, and we did a quick Q&A. However, he had the questions for me. So he had some questions, and I thought, why not? Let's record it. The answers to my questions, or to his questions rather, let's record it. And the plan tonight is we're going to play that recording on the live stream. Now he is going to be releasing it on his channel as well, and his Instagram and Facebook, but I thought it would be cool to give you all a sneak peek of it, play it for you now, and then, it's going to help possibly answer some questions you have about me or about Tint Wiz. And then the plan is once that video is over, I'll come back, and if there's any additional questions about me, about Tint Wiz, about anything, we'll answer them. And then I'm also prepared we can jump into Tint Wiz itself. And if there's any questions about Tint Wiz, if there's anything I can guide you through, if there's anything you want to learn better, we can jump into Tint Wiz. So that's going to be today's live stream. So I'm about to switch over and I'll get that video from today with Austin playing. It's about 17 minutes long. I think it's going to fly by because it was a really engaging interview. He had some really good questions. And I'm really glad, I got the chance to put them out there and now share them with you. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to that. And if you can, go ahead and just share this video. It's going to help others get in here, others that may not know we have went live. By sharing the video, that helps get everyone in here. So let's do that. Let's get this video started, and then I'll be watching the comments. So I'll see you in about 17 minutes. Okay, we're recording.
Awesome. So first off, I want to thank you for taking this time to sit down with me today, and because I've been anxious to get to know you more, because I do love the product that you've come out with, Tint Wiz. So do me a favor and start out by telling us a little bit about yourself and what motivated you to start Tint Wiz.
Absolutely. So I've been in the tint industry for about 10 years. About 5 years ago, I moved to LA from Florida, and so I'm in a new city. I opened up a flat glass tint company. Okay. And I wasn't coming from necessarily a tint installer background, but I understood the business. So got into the flat glass, and, the first year we grew, in a partial year, we did about 300,000 in sales. Year two, I find myself in a year, we're projected to do 1 million in sales. At the time, I'm using Apple Calendar, I'm using Google Excel sheets, and I'm using email, the combination of all three to kind of manage how everything's going. So, I'm scheduling in Apple Calendars, I'm keeping track of the clients in Google Excel, and then I'm communicating with installers through email, sending pictures back and forth, dimensions, and so on. And it just was clear that, what needed to happen was I needed to hire a bunch of people. And I knew as I continued to grow, I need to hire a bunch more people. And what I thought was, okay, that's going to require a lot of training. And right now I'm operating at 110%. Where am I going to find the time to train all these people? And then I thought, well, we're just kind of coming out of a recession. This was only a few years, to me, after the recession we all remember at the end of, around 2010, before and after. So I thought, well, what's going to happen if I grow really quickly, but then in 10 years, the same type of thing happens? What's going to happen to my business? What's going to happen to all these people I trained? Am I going to spend 10 years going forward to spend 2 or 3 years collapsing? So while those things are going through my mind, I said, I just want to find an efficient way to manage this information. If I can do things faster, I can get more done. That means I need less people, and I can do more business, and I can provide better service. So Tint Wiz was basically my step-by-step solution to those problems. So the first problem I tried to solve was LA's has a very dense traffic. So 10 miles could take an hour and a half. So it was very, very important to schedule people close together. So what I wanted was a map, because I didn't know the area very well. I said, well, what if I could have a map? And on that map, I just need a pin drop of who I'm trying to schedule. And I would need some other pin drops of where else my guys are going to be that day. And then I can just match that pin drop and make sure it's close to the other pin drops. So that's what we built. We built a simple CRM that had a map on it, had a scheduling system on it. It was tied in with Google Maps, so it was very efficient, and we could do that. And from there, we just built it out, solving those problems. We added the ability to add pictures, do online proposals, so we could do proposals right on site, check in and check out, share with team members and so on. And from there, just about last year, I had the opportunity to sell the tint company. And that was the pivot that made this software something that, instead of being my secret weapon, it was something that I said, hey, I could focus full time on this. I love this. This was my favorite part of the business. So I said, I can sell the tint company. I had that opportunity. And we took Tint Wiz to, from being our secret tool to being something that we've offered to the tint industry, and we're continuing to grow.
Awesome. So what I'm hearing is you actually built it for yourself, not necessarily thinking that it was going to be for the general public, to make your personal business more efficient. And then it morphed into something that everyone can now have access to help them with their window film company.
That's 100% correct. I had zero intention of ever releasing this to the public. I used to go to dealer meetings, and we had close friends that were like, please let us use the software. And I, at the time, didn't even want them to see what the software looked like, because I thought if they even see what it is, they could maybe copy it or something like that.
Right.
Because it was that important to me. It was like, it was our golden goose.
So would you say that that Tint Wiz is what helped your business grow to the point of being sellable?
It was absolutely the reason. Like I mean, of course it took marketing, it took treating the customer correctly and so on, but all of that couldn't have come together without the software, no question about it. Let me give you an example. So when you would call into our office, the person answering the phone could get you scheduled efficiently and quickly, and we could be out there within a few days, a day. Sometimes we were down the street, because of how efficient that scheduling software is. When the consultants out there, they're in the field, they can look at their schedule live and see what was added to their schedule. They can click in there, they can read all the notes from the person who spoke to the customer, so they know exactly what to be prepared to go in. Now they're going in the door with an iPad or with their iPhone. They're taking pictures, they're taking measurements, and they're taking pictures, they're taking measurements, and they're able to provide the customer with a proposal right then and there on the spot. And even in the instance where they maybe don't sell the customer on the spot, the customer can call in the office a few minutes later, and we're able to answer their questions as if we were there with those pictures and with that information. Then you take our installers and how we were able, Southern California, and how you can't necessarily cover a large area as a window film company, because it takes too much time to get out there and to get back. So what we were able to do is say, well, all you need as an installer is your iPad, a van, and some film, and you can live 2 hours away from us, because you're going to get your jobs on your iPad. You're going to know where to go. You're going to be able to do your job, put in the information we need, take care of everything right there on the spot. So it was monumental. And
awesome. That's
why I'm so excited to talk about it and, to get everybody else involved. And I know CRM management is a new thing for the window film industry, but it's a game changer for sure.
Well, you've accomplished something that I think all of us window film company owners want to accomplish, and that is being able to eventually exit by selling the business and or handing it down to someone and have it be profitable. Is it safe to say that the gentleman who bought your window film company still to this day uses Tint Wiz?
So actually they don't. So the company that bought it is the largest company in the United States. Now they had their own systems in place. They're a large company. I don't know how many companies they've bought, but I think maybe this was their 8th or 10th or 7th. So it's a company that, has a lot of systems in place. Now with that said, I do believe they will be using Tint Wiz in the future. Now during that transit, and that's my own personal belief. Now during that transition of the business, I was able to see the amount of people that they have working in place and the amount of layers and layers upon systems that they have in place. And I understand how difficult at that level it can be to now change that. And that's why it's, I feel like it's such an extreme benefit to say, hey, start using a system that doesn't need to be so complicated, that doesn't need to have so many layers, and that is, easy to learn and so on, because it never gets easier to put those systems in place as you get bigger and so on. It only becomes more difficult. So when people say, I'm not a big shop, I'm just a couple guys, I don't need a system in place, you definitely need a system in place. That's the opposite.
That's the perfect time to start implementing it.
Of course. And you're getting like free help. I mean, it's not free, but it's almost free help. The amount of people that it can replace and it's in your pocket doesn't require management, doesn't require, them calling in sick. It doesn't require training. It's just you and the app.
Right. I 100% agree that the product is ideal for a small shop because it's potentially the one thing that's going to help you become a large shop. Because it replaces so many people, and with the automatic email sends, that's the number one way to cross-sell and upsell customers that are already in your database.
Exactly.
So with that said, would you agree that your ideal customer is a smaller shop because it is easier to start using?
I don't think there's an ideal customer. I really think that everyone in the window film industry, even the larger companies, could find huge benefit. I was on the phone with a manufacturer yesterday explaining to them how they could use it to manage their tint dealers as their own customers. Because at the end of the day, what everybody needs to do in this industry is you want to know who your customers are. You want to have all their information in one place. You want to be able to manage any projects you have, follow up with them and so on. And that applies throughout, transcends throughout any level of the window film industry. And then also, vinyl wraps, paint protection, all the services that go with it. Even in flat glass, if you're doing, AC filter replacements, which is a common little add-on that flat glass installers do. Regardless, you can handle it with Tint Wiz. So I don't think there's an ideal customer. I really think everybody could use it to their benefit.
So is what you're saying, as far as the distributors using it, is what you're saying that companies outside the industry could also utilize it?
So we have instances where we had tint shop owners, friends see it, and then, so like we have a carpentry company that uses it. That's a friend of a company of a tint, his friend is a tint shop owner. Right. He saw the system. He uses it for his carpentry business. We have a concrete floor company. We have a painting company. We have a fence company. So we have these oddball companies that have come on to use it. So, at the same time, if you're in fencing, there's probably better solutions out there specific to fencing. But if you're in window film or anything related, in that industry, this is what to use.
Awesome. Hey, what would you say is your current client's top 3 favorite features of Tint Wiz?
So the scheduling, without a doubt, being able to put the clients like in one place and have all their information in there, whether it's, scheduling their consultation or just scheduling installation. Scheduling is just, everybody has a schedule. You're doing a schedule. You're doing it on paper, you're doing it in Google, you're doing it in iCal and so on. And being able to share that schedule, your installers being able to see it or you being able to see it, that's definitely, that's a huge, incredible part of it. The other thing that gets talked about a lot is the ability to, we have what's called lead forms. So the lead forms are contact forms for your website. They replace the contact form on your website. So, when somebody goes to your website and they type in their information, instead of that information going to, your Gmail account or maybe your spam, and then you checking it and you calling the person back and getting all their information, what this does is when they type in their information on your website, it goes automatically into Tint Wiz. You get an app notification that you have a new lead, and you get an email notification. So what that allows you to do is you can literally click that app notification. You're looking at their information. You're looking at their notes. You don't have to copy and paste it anywhere. And then you can literally just press their phone number and call them. So what that means is your turnaround time for that is like seconds. And what you're going to hear on the other end of the phone is, wow, that was quick.
Right.
And from there, you have a great conversation going. Now, the flip side, where people are often coming from, is they're working all day. They're doing a million different things. And then they have to find time to sit down and check their email. and then they see the email, they call the person, well, the person didn't pick up, or they send them an email, and now you're in this back and forth. So you just took something that could be handled right then and there, and the customer's super happy, and the customer's impression of you is you're on your stuff. You just took it from and only maybe taking you a minute of your time to now being a back and forth follow-up scenario. And what the trickle down effect from that is the perception you end up getting of your leads, because you start to say, well, my leads, when people come into my shop, they tend to buy, but the online leads tend to not do much, or I can't close many of them. A lot of people don't even get back to you. They're BS. They're probably other shops. It's not. It's that somebody else picked up their phone and got it done.
Right.
That's what it is. You.
Yeah. 100% agree. And I do agree with also the ability for Tint Wiz to help build your credibility, because you're getting back to them so much faster when they've already tried potentially calling another shop and not getting a call back or not being responsive. That's awesome. So one thing I've been really anxious to ask you with this interview on our schedule, because you have built such a successful window film company previous to Tint Wiz, what are your 2 recommendations to window film companies that want to grow exponentially?
Okay, so number one thing is you have to keep track of every single call, every single customer that calls for flat glass. So if somebody calls in, and with that, not only do you need to keep track of them, you need to treat them the same way you treat every one of your flat glass customers. So somebody calls in and they say, I have one window and I'd like to frost it. How much is it? The way we did things and what worked for me and what I suggest for everybody is you say, absolutely, we do frost. We have multiple levels of frost. So we have a darker frost that, gives you more privacy and allows a little less light. And then we also have a more clear, it's a dusted crystal if you want less privacy. Can we stop by? We can bring you some samples of both of them. We can measure that window for you and we can give you a price right on the spot. And they may say, no, I'm really just looking for a price. And you say, no, I understand, but there are different options and so on. We have decorative options as well. And, we're always in the area. It's free. You're not taking us out of our way. And it's just the way we're able to provide you the service that you deserve. So you can really see what you're getting, because, I don't want to give you a price for one thing and it's not what you had in mind. I want you to see your options. This is your home. And people love that. And it helps them make their decision, and it helps you become the expert and the trusted company. It's the difference between now you walked into their home, they appreciate you already. You show them decorative options. You show them dusted crystals. They pick their option. Maybe it's a $200 job. Maybe it wasn't a killer. But what's going to happen is they're going to spread the word. What's going to happen is you're already in their door, and you can say, what about that skylight? Do you get a lot of heat from that skylight? You want to walk through your house and see if you have any other windows that might be causing you some trouble. You have some shades in the bathroom that you might want to get rid of, and so on. You're in the door. So when you look at a lead as like, well, it's only a one window lead. No, that's better than a one window lead that you can get in the door is better than a 100 window lead that doesn't care to talk to you.
Right.
So like treating every customer like that, that's going to grow the business. That's what gets you the positive reviews. That then gets you more customers and so on.
Awesome. Excellent. And last but not least, what is your number one suggestion when it comes to marketing? If you only had, say, $1,500, all the way up to maybe $5,000, and you had to put it in one place as far as marketing, where would you put it?
So if I can, I would say if my budget was a lot smaller than that and I only had one place to put it, because really I feel like I want to start with the best bang for your buck. Your best bang for your buck out there is, for your time, money, and attention, is your Google local listing and your Yelp page. Okay, those 2 pages are your best bang for your buck. And the reason that is those 2 avenues already have traffic to them. So now you only have to say, and they're free to be on. So they already have traffic and they're free to be on. So then you only have to say, how can I build my profile to be the most attractive profile? And once it is the most attractive profile and I maintain that, I'm able to now get most of the business of people looking for window tint. Okay, because when you go to somewhere like, just to kind of give you the other side of the coin, when you say your website is, I guarantee everybody should have a website. When you said $3,000 or $5,000, my mind went towards website. That's where you spend $3,000 to $5,000, and you're going to get a great return out of that. However, if we're on a build your tint business game show and we only have a month to do this, I'm going to Yelp and Google. I'm not going to my website. Now, if we said long term, now you start to level the playing field, and the website might be the long-term bit play.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Well, that's great information. I 100% agree with the Google and Yelp reviews. I still think that's where the larger percentage of people go to call for window film estimates if they're not getting a direct referral from someone. But I can't thank you enough for spending time with us. You've shared a lot of good wisdom with us, and I wish you the best of luck with Tint Wiz. I have no doubt that it's going to be a very successful company.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for doing this, and thanks for supporting us with the Tinstitute. It's I hope to get the chance to. We'll do the reverse of this interview because I have a lot of questions for you, and I think a lot of people can benefit from hearing more about the Tinstitute. So we'll do this again.
Fantastic. It was my pleasure.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. And we're done. So I'm going to jump into the comments. Excuse me. I'm going to jump into the comments now. If see any questions, answer those questions. And if you have any questions about me, about Tint Wiz, anything you want to discuss, this is the time. Let's do it. So Jamal said, Yelp, hell no, man. Don't say Yelp, please. I know, but even if it's not a subject that gets like a good response by everybody, and I know, people just F Yelp and so, I have a reason to say it. I wish Yelp paid me, but they definitely don't. But I would definitely love to be a spokesperson for them. And the reason being is it has so much potential value for businesses. So you can hate them, you can, fault them for their salespeople in the past, you can ignore them, you can do all those things, or you can do a couple simple things to your Yelp profile to build it up in a way that it brings you business. So, you can choose, but if you're choosing the one that doesn't bring you business, I feel like it's my responsibility to kind of keep reminding you that this is, a great place to be. It's an important place to be. And, eventually, hopefully I can convert you and you'll see the benefits of it. Daniel said Austin looked bored. It was in the middle of his day, and I'm sure he was busting through cars. I'm sure he's exhausted. That's I feel like one of the hardest working people in the business. Austin from the Tinstitute got my attention because, this is one of those people who every single day he's putting out content. He's putting out video content. He's putting out, on his website, on Instagram, on Facebook, and they're great how-tos. He's not making all those videos. They're not out there really marketing, his actual tint company. They're under the Tinstitute name, which is for fellow tinters. And he actually had a video they did on the front door of a business, a commercial installation, and it had over 1 million views on his Instagram TV. So if over 1 million people are watching his installer install window film onto a front door of a business, he's doing something right. Whether that was because it helped so many other tinters or because it was entertaining to consumers, either way, that's really, really good stuff. And, hey, if he's tired, nothing wrong with that. So just looking through the comments and see where we land. So Matthew Petty asked, will Tint Wiz send the customer a reminder to leave a review? So Tint Wiz doesn't currently automatically send the customer a reminder to leave a review. It is a feature that we're working on. It is something that we know very well. We really take our time when we implement new features into Tint Wiz because it's not really just about stuffing a bunch of stuff into an app that, this is shiny, that's shiny, let's just put it all in there. It really is saying, okay, yeah, we want to request reviews, but what is the best way to do it? What is the most intuitive way? What's going to get the best response from customers and so on? And really fine tuning it. So the overall user experience for you as the Tint Wiz user, and then the customer as the receiver of that message is the absolute best it's been. I'm not talking about, this is what is pretty standard in other review requests. I'm talking about, let's take this next level and make it, the most effective and the most pleasant and smooth experience possible. So it's coming. And what I would tell you to do until then is, it is attractive to go down that automated route and think, well, if I could just automate this, I can automate that and so on, like emails. If I could just email everybody at once, of course, that would be easier, right? But, reviews are so important. And, what I want you to think about is how many customers do you really have in a day? Is it 10? Is it 15? Is it 5? Is it 20? What is it? But let's just say it's 20. 20 people. Can you not send a personal text message to 20 people? Now, you may say, well, that's going to take some time. I'd rather if it happened on its own. Right. It'd be easier if it happened on its own, but it would also be less effective. right? Because you taking the time and sending a personal text message to someone is something that no level of automation, or at least none that's in place now. There is some things we're working on that's going to make this possible automated. But, if you want to give somebody a personal text message right now, your option is send them a personal text message. And what that's going to do is that's going to raise your conversion rate. And you're going to see that, hey, I may only have 5 customers. And before I might get a review every week, but now I'm getting 4 out of 5 people leaving a review. Whereas if you set it up in an automated process and you use those standard messages that services use, you are definitely going to increase your reviews because it's better than not asking. However, you're going to increase them at a much lower and slower rate. And if you're trying to stand out from your competition, if you're trying to make your shop stand out, you can't go at the normal rate. You have to find ways to really, squeeze the juice out of the orange. And that way is saying, hey, that's important. Reviews are important. I don't really have that many customers. 20 customers a day isn't that many. 10 isn't that many. You can pre-write some different types of messages and then add personal stuff to the beginning, about their car, about the shade they picked, about the color, congratulations again on your new vehicle, and so on. There's so many ways that you can personalize these messages because the return from them, those positive reviews, have such a big impact that it's worth trying to get each and every one of them. So an manual process is really going to be your best way and really what I recommend at this moment. So that's reviews. And if you have any questions on, ideas of what to say, or, I'm more than happy to ask them. The idea is you want to show the customer you care. When you get a message and it says rate our service and you just get kind of like an automated email that asks you to rate your service, how many times do you feel like you just open this annoying email or text messages, it's asking to rate the service? Unless you had a real connection with that business, unless you felt something, you really felt something with the person, unless they went up and beyond, what are the chances you're even going to click? Now it asks you to actually write a review. Are you going to write the review, or are you going to say, and just close it? Well, a lot of people are going to say, and just close it. So if you want that person to take the time, send them a personal message, show them that it's important, that they're important to you. And that's why you took the time to check on them. And, their feedback's important, and, your reviews are important. And through a personalized message, you can relay that emotion to your customer better, and that's going to help you generate more reviews in a faster amount of time. And even if you only have 5 customers, and it's the difference between you getting 0 to 1 reviews a week or 2 to 3 reviews a week, that's a huge difference, because when you scale that out over the year, you'll have double or triple where you would have been. And then you'll also have that snowball effect that happens from getting reviews, which is as you get more reviews, you tend to get those shoppers that really trust reviews. Those happen to be the same shoppers that also leave reviews. So as you get going, I definitely recommend leave personal reviews. And then as your business scales up, Tint Wiz will be a great solution to how you can automate those reviews in a way that is going to blow you out of the water as far as conversions go. So that's reviews. Donnie War, he said, what about free advertising like Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, and Craigslist? So, okay, those are absolutely great places to be. Those are the hustler place to be. Those are the equivalent of, that's the modern day, I'm going to go to the supermarket, I'm going to put flyers on windshields, or I'm going to go door to door and put flyers on doors. Now you do that through your Facebook Marketplace, unless, you want to get shot. Don't go to people's doors anymore, because things have changed. You're going to be on their Nest and so on, and you're going to be talking to them from work. No one's home anymore. So Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, Craigslist, any of these other sites, they're the hustler's place to go get exposure, because like Donnie said, they're free, but they do take a hustle. So what that means is typically posting your business services on there is not, it's kind of frowned upon. Sometimes that'll get your post deleted. So you're going to have to look at other businesses, find techniques, and so on. So I'll give you an example. If you go on to Facebook Marketplace and you say, hey, I offer commercial and residential window film service, or I offer car tinting, and the price varies, call our company, and so on, and you put the price at $0 because you say, I can't put a price because it's a service and so on. That's the quickest way to get your post removed. Now, what I see in those types of environments that works is they'll post a picture of a window, they'll put a price on that service of, let's say, $500, and then they'll explain that what that includes, kind of like a Groupon. You're kind of giving them some parameters and you're selling the service and the parameters. That tends to lead to better success rate. But, with that said, if those are the places you want to hang out and you want to get business, I definitely recommend it. There's a lot of money to be had there. But what you need to do is go on there, see what other businesses are doing in other industries that's successful, that you see their posts all the time and you see them staying and they seem busy and active. See what they're doing, see the types of posts they're making, the types of pictures they're using, how they manage their pricing, how they share it, if they promote it, and use those as guides. And then ultimately it's going to be trial and error. It's really important when you try things that you can't give up too quickly. You don't know what's there. You can't draw conclusions after a day or after a week. You can't draw conclusions by doing the same thing over and over and then drawing the conclusion. You have to experiment. You have to give it time. You have to be a sponge trying to absorb the people that are doing things successful around you so that you can learn from them. And that's when ideas start to click and you start to become the master of the whatever you're trying to do. So if you spend enough time on Facebook Marketplace, you're, open-minded and you're looking around, you're going to find how to make money on Facebook Marketplace. Now, the thing to remember about that is these opportunities, these free ones like Craigslist, like Facebook, they come and they go. They're hot now, they go tomorrow. So it's always important to stay on that cutting edge, always be aware of the new sites, where are people going and so on, because as these sites start to crack down on businesses, as they start to develop more commercial ways for businesses to advertise through a paid method, then you find out that the organic and your ability to actually get those posts out there will diminish, and you'll have to move on to those next platforms. So definitely a great idea, Donnie. Thank you for bringing that up. Jamal, he said, I know them for a long time, though. They screw me and several people I know. Absolutely. They had some of the shystiest, greediest, backstabbing reps at Yelp possible years ago. Okay. And still, I'm sure not all their employees are great people. What company of that size has, the perfect employee, perfect customer service, and so on? But I can guarantee you the tactics that were going on 5, 8 years ago that earned them the bad reputation has changed. It has changed after they became a publicly traded company. They had to tighten up on that. The tech world changed. Okay, so if you go back to the times of like Groupon growing and Yelp growing, those were the same time. These were call center type situations. They were tech companies, but they were call centers. They had high pressure sales. They had big bonuses, and their job was to bring people on, everybody on, go in there and make it happen. And when you put that sort of environment in your business, it leads to things that people don't like, such as, things that Yelp's known for, people lying to them, people over promising, people, making threats, people maybe altering profiles and so on. That does not exist in the Yelp culture, to my knowledge, from my experience. What does exist is Yelp has managed to have a very steady and trusting user base. They've also managed to dominate the search results on Google. So when you search for window film in your area, most likely the first or second result for a lot of terms is going to be Yelp. And then once you're on that Yelp page, now you're seeing, hey, who shines on Yelp? So, it's not about Yelp's going to be there whether you support them or not. Okay. They just are. Certainly if you get the whole world to not use them, then you have a chance. But as of now, they're going to be there. The only person missing out by you not contributing to your Yelp profile is you. Okay. Yelp doesn't really care. I'm sure they care. I'm sure they'd rather that you paid, but here's the thing. You don't have to pay to take advantage of Yelp. You can completely bring in business from Yelp completely free. Now, once you do that, I know you're going to go, well, so I can pay? What does that get me? But why don't we take it one step at a time and just focus on making Yelp a free resource for new business and not be worried about being paid, about the paid, because if you're not paying for it, then what do you have to lose? A little bit of your time? A little bit of your time. But you can't lose any money. You're not going to lose any customers because you look good on Yelp, because you take care of your Yelp profile, right? So, the possible benefit is so big. The possible loss is nothing. So I just really, really, really want to keep repeating on and on and on and on and on. Yelp is a great place to be. James Richardson asked, is Tint Wiz set up for PPS vinyl wraps too? Yes, it is. So in the automotive section of Tint Wiz, when you're creating an automotive project, you'll be able to see that there are additional services. And if you drop down that additional services, you'll see paint protection film, you'll see vinyl wraps, you'll see ceramic coatings and so on. And then you'll see other. And with the other, that allows you to actually add any sort of service you'd like. So you can use Tint Wiz to sell literally anything. You can sell radios, you can sell subwoofer boxes. It doesn't matter. You can sell anything. You can combine it with a tint proposal in one, or it could be standalone. It doesn't matter. But yes, Tint Wiz is flexible, and that same flexibility also is in the marine section of it, as well as in the flat glass, the residential and commercial projects that exist all throughout. And those are areas that we'll continue to build out and bring features to. So, that's exciting as well, but you can do it all. So Jamal just said, that's Yelp. That's Yelp isn't new for me and all. I know them for a long time. 7 years ago, they were already bad for me. I took several reviews out for me, 80, and let me with 20. So listen, they're showing the customers 20 reviews. This is a huge misconception. So Jamal's saying they took several reviews out of me, 80, and left me with 20. So what you're saying, Jamal, is they stole from you. You had reviews in your possession, and they stole them from you and only left you in 20. So you feel at a loss because you feel like they took something from you. Now, let's change the perspective a little bit, okay? Before, what happened was Yelp had a website, okay? And they had a user base, and they made a way for that user base to rate businesses, okay? And then they have a method to say, these are the reviews that we think our customers should read because they're the newest, they're from active users, they have the most relevancy, and I'm sure a lot of other ways that the algorithms decide which reviews to show and which they don't. That's Yelp service, okay? And consumers are able to go there and say, wow, Jamal's business, look at these 20 glowing 5-star reviews. Look at this thing somebody said about so-and-so. It takes one review. That's how many people are even reading the 20 or the 80. Now, if you're caught up in a number count, I understand. However, the way to win the number count isn't to quit the game. It's by going ahead and pursuing it, going after it. It doesn't mean you have to pay. I can tell you for sure, if you investigate the FTC investigations that went into Yelp, because Yelp is a publicly traded company, it absolutely would violate the law. They would not be on the stock exchange right now. They would be out of business if it was determined that they adjusted reviews based off of whether you paid or not. That has been factually proven. And the perception, I know it's hard to swallow when they're filtering so many reviews, but you have to look at it as this is their platform. This is their business. This is something they created. And yes, it has made it has changed the way consumers shop. It has changed the way, who doesn't, when they're going to a restaurant, check Yelp and let's see what it looks like. Let's see if people like it or not, right? I'm grateful for it because it's elevated the customer service benchmark in all industries. You can no longer get away with just being on a main street and serving bad food and thinking people are going to come to you anyway. Now that'll put you out of business. You can't be rude to customers. You can't just, it's now customers are in the driver's seat. And as a business, you can push against it or you can embrace it. And the winning method is embracing it. The losing method is pushing against it, because eventually you might get away with pushing against things for a while, but you might end up push against something that ends up, being a big deal, being too big of a deal. So I understand, but you can't feel that you're at a loss. What you have is 20 reviews showing up on somebody else's website at the top of search results, and you didn't pay anything for that. Don't worry about the reviews that they didn't show. Worry about the good reviews. And the more reviews you get, the more reviews you're going to show. Doesn't matter how many show or how many don't show. It matters the pace you're getting, because everybody on Yelp is on an equal playing field. So Andrew Bully said, I asked Yelp about this and they scream lies. We have never advertised with them, but I give Yelp quotes daily, almost always for automotive. So yeah, you're going to get Yelp quotes. You're going to get Yelp quotes, and there's kind of different levels of Yelp quotes. So you're going to get Yelp quotes, kind of what I'll call bottom of the barrel Yelp quotes. So bottom of the barrel Yelp quotes would be somebody who's interested in a business. They type up their information because that's the business they want to quote from. And then Yelp gives them an option. Hey, do you also want to get quotes from surrounding businesses? And they can just click OK, and then it sends that quote to maybe 4 or 5 businesses in their area. Okay. Now, you're going to get that quote, you're going to respond to it, and that's going to be probably the least likely quote for you to be able to close. Now, I'm not saying you can't close that quote, but I'm just putting that, labeling it for sake of conversation and comparison. To me, that's kind of a bottom of the barrel. They didn't come to you They didn't pick you. They don't really even necessarily know who you are yet. So they're just going to read your response, and hopefully your response can draw them in. Hopefully it was a fast response time. Hopefully after they see your response and they click on your profile, they like what they see. But at the end of the day, your response is probably their first time interacting with you, and they're going to have another 4 or 5 other tint companies also responding probably quickly. At least one of them is going to be on the ball and get back to them quick. Now, the next type of lead you can get through there would be someone who contacts your business directly. They're scrolling through. They say, hey, I'm looking for a tint company. I scroll through. Wow, I found that tint company. Okay, this is the one I like. Let me get a quote from them. Maybe they find 2 companies or 3. They read up on it, they pick it, and they actually they meant to message you. That's a whole different ballgame, okay? So that second type of quote, those only come when you have an exceptional profile, okay? Those happen when you have a lot of pictures, when you have some good reviews under your belt, when you have the about us filled in and the about the business owner and so on. That's when you start to get the quotes from people who are actually interested in you and your business. Okay, so it's great that you're getting quotes. That does prove the point that, Yelp is a source for business. They have traffic and you can get free quotes from there. But I still say squeeze the more juice out of that orange because it's free, and go in there and add pictures. How many pictures do you have in there? Do you have 10? Do you have 20? Do you have 100? Do you have 1,000? Do you have 10,000? How many pictures do you have in there? It's not the same if you have 8 or if you have 100. It's not the same if they're bad pictures or they're clear pictures. It's not the same if they're 2 years old or they were posted yesterday. How about, are there quotes in there? Are there captions? Can I see what's in the picture? You ever go to a restaurant, you search the menu and you look at the pictures, you see something looks delicious. It was posted 3 years ago and it doesn't say what it was. You know what I mean? They all make little differences. These are important things. So, yeah, Yelp. So Barry Johnson said you can also generate a short link on your Google page that you can copy and paste. Absolutely. So if you're going to send your customer a review request manually, you definitely want to include a link so they can click it. That's going to open up your Google page and let them leave the review. Google reviews are not the easiest to leave on their own. People aren't necessarily familiar with how to easily navigate to a place like Google to leave a review. So including a link in there is absolutely vital. You can generate that link through the Google My Business page. You just go to your business profile, log in, and from there, you can generate a share link, which links them right back to your page so that they can leave a review. So that's a great point, Barry. Super important. And I mean, a huge part. You can't expect people to figure it out or go through that much trouble. The easier you make it for them, the more personalized it is, it's obviously going to be more effective. Daniel said, what I do is follow up 2 days after install. Then that's 100% great idea, because 2 days after install, you're following up, and then, they're going, wow, what a great guy. He really cares. You're getting in the way of any potential problems. So it's a big difference if a customer calls you, let's just say day 4, they notice some bubbles in the tint, but it's not bad bubbles. These are how the film cures. This is just bubbles from the normal film curing. It's hot out, it's curing, and you start to see a little bit of moisture in there. Now, there's a difference if day 4, the customer is like, oh man, look at the bubbles in my film. I'm going to call that shop and really tear them. I went with the upgraded film. They told me it was good, and here I am with bubbles. Okay, that's going to be a different phone call than if you call them 2 days afterwards and you say, hey, I was just calling to see if everything was perfect on your vehicle or in your home or in your living room or so on. And they say, well, I did start to see bubbles on my sliding door. Is that, what are we doing? What's going on? And you say, well, that's actually a normal part of the curing process. And you explain that to them. That's a game changer, okay? That's even going to make them more likely to feel like leaving you a good review because they know you're there to take care of them. Yeah, they followed up with me after 2 days. That's huge. That's huge. Daniel, that's how you get referral business. That's how you get positive reviews. That's how you do it. And that's how you should do it on Yelp too. So you quote somebody, okay? They probably got a bunch of other quotes and they probably are at work or they, requested the quote last night. Most likely they didn't get their car tinted within an hour of requesting the quotes. So what happened is they got a bunch of quotes, they probably read through them, and then the next step is you're leaving it up to them to decide, who do I call back? Which company do I want to go with, right? Well, you can help them decide a little bit by following up with them. Because when you send a message to them a day or 2 days later and you say, hey, I was just following up to see if you had any other questions, if you got your car done or not, we do have some appointments this Friday and this Saturday from 1 to 3, and then we have another appointment from 8 to 9, and then we have one at the end of the day. And you give them some different options right then and there, actual times that you have available. You're saving one step. You're making it easier for them to agree. Pick a time in the morning one day, a time in the afternoon one day, and then the end of the day. So that way you're kind of hitting all bases and you're finding, okay, what what spot would they like to be in, and let them secure a time. And those little details have huge benefit and huge rewards. So Jamal said Craigslist, too many scams. That's the pioneer advertising. That's the way some of us started. Craigslist is like beating a dead horse. Certainly there's still business. There's still people who go there, but that's not really where all the action's happening. Right now, Facebook is one of the hottest places, but there's tons of local apps and just different, like kind of smaller segmented apps, classified apps where there's plenty of business to be had. So I agree with you, Jamal. Craigslist might not be the place to go. You're probably going to pay for Craigslist as well, anywhere from about $25 to $35 per post. Again, you may get it's a place to start. It's an option, but it's definitely not going to be your biggest return for your time. So Jamal also said word of mouth was the key back in the day after Craigslist. Then now smartphones, 5 miles, Facebook, Google, another man, wrap your car, see to make your advertising on hoodies. That's exactly what he's talking about. So, having a wrapped vehicle, what does your vehicle, your company vehicle look like? Is it wrapped? You can be at somebody's home and their neighbor is looking out the window across the street next door and so on. They see what their person's getting, their neighbor's getting, and you're either going to get a call while you're working there and see if they can come, you can come provide a service for them, or you're going to get a call after, or they're going to go to their neighbor and say, hey, I saw you, you got this done. How did you like their service? Having your wrapped vehicle is your one-time investment for nonstop advertising everywhere you go. That should absolutely happen. And just like a website, you should look at your wrapped vehicle as a presence. It is like a storefront. It is an impression. So it's worth taking the time, getting a nice wrap done, getting a quality wrap done, and letting somebody who design the wrap, making sure aesthetically it makes sense and it doesn't just look like you took pre-cut letters from like a do-it-yourself sign and just kind of put them down your door. It matters what's where, what's big, what your eye goes to, if it's too much information, if it's not enough information, all that stuff matters. So, if you're gonna invest in a wrap, I definitely recommend it's worth the investment. Invest in a wrap, invest in a great website, and invest in your online presence, and you're going to see business just trickling in, because there's not one magic way to just bring in a ton of business. The successful companies, it comes in from here, it comes in from there, it comes in from referrals from previous customers, it comes in from good reviews, it comes in from Facebook, it comes in from Google, it comes in from Yelp. And when it all comes in from all directions, that's when it's like, wow, look at this. And that kind of momentum builds upon itself, and it's magic from there. So Liz said, connect with other local businesses. We have over 200 plus business cards on our wall. I always ask them if they own a business. When they're here, I'll promote their business for free on our page. Ask them to do the same. Boom, you can connect. Absolutely. Local businesses, of course, it's the best people to connect with. And you start to get these opportunities where, they are coming in there for their car, maybe. Let's start off with that. They're coming in for their car. They don't necessarily know that you also do home tinting and you also do business tinting, right? So if they know you do business, like tinting business windows, how many storefronts don't have some old blackout film or some frost that's crusty or would love to do new graphic design? And if you're networking with them for commercial reasons and they find out you also do homes or you also do graphics, it's all about getting the word out. And, obviously business owners are pillars in the community. So they're important because they can be invaluable. They're very, very valuable connections. You can't really quantify how valuable and how big of an ROI you can actually get from those relationships. So that's definitely great advice, Liz. Matt from Tint Stuff said, the fact that most shops still think Yelp is bad means you have a better chance of standing out on Yelp now. Always look in the other direction. Great advice. That's a great point, Matt. So, every time somebody would say like Home Advisor stinks, I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, so Home Advisor doesn't stink. So that poor person is going to miss out on all that opportunity while other people are getting those Home Advisor leads and making a killing. The same goes for Yelp and so on. So that's a great point. When, you have people saying to stay away from it, it just makes it an opportunity. Makes it even more of an opportunity. So let's see. Daniel said perspective is key in life. You can tweak it. Absolutely. Your perspective should always change. Look, your perspective is an accumulation of all your experiences, right? And then hopefully you've learned a lot from other people's experiences as well. You have to be open to more experiences to have that change in perspective. Because if you kind of close yourself off, if you make those decisions and you you make up your mind, then that's where your perspectives start to be, like lines in the snow, and you'll track that same path, and it becomes harder to veer towards opportunity because you're so stuck in your ways. You've built such a ridge for yourself mentally that your mind just goes down those paths, and it's very difficult when things come along. And so perspective is key. Perspective is everything, and key, like Daniel said. So Chamal said, Chris Queen, if you don't pay Yelp, they will take reviews off your site. So you're wrong about that. Yelp will take reviews off your site if you do pay as well. Okay. So there are tons of companies that pay a lot of money, and you'll see hundreds and hundreds of reviews. Sometimes 60% of their reviews are taken off and they don't pay. And they do pay. So explain that, because I agree. Yelp does take reviews off your page if you don't pay, but it's the same if you do pay, because it's not based on if you're paying or not. It's based on the reviews that came in. It's review like the text of it, what they say. It depends on the activity of that user. It depends on how long ago it was, how relevant the text comes in, and it's all determined by algorithms. It's not determined by if you pay or not. I'm telling you for sure, 100%. Now, if you stand on the sidelines and you say, hey, my reviews, they're disappearing, and when I stopped paying, that could be a coincidence. It can be a perception of things. Hey, Yelp has changed their filters many, many, many times. And people, hey, you've always had filtered reviews. Now you have a huge amount of filtered reviews. Now, if that correlated with you stopping paying for Yelp, you're going to have your mind made up as to why that happened. But if you're still paying Yelp and that happened, you'd be on the other side of that story saying, no, it's not because you're not paying. I'm still paying, and they did it to me too. Because again, that's how you look. If they just leave every single review up for everybody, then a new company comes into town. Every company has 3,000 or 4,000 reviews, and that new company will be 4,000 reviews away. And then fake reviews count. Every review counts. It doesn't matter. It's just going to keep going to the total. No, you can't do that, right? That's not going to. If then I'm a customer, right? If I'm a customer and I'm going to use Yelp, and I see 3,000, I see 100. Well, what if that person with 3,000? What if they've gotten 50 bad reviews? Well, they have 3,000, so 50 didn't really matter. Maybe they're doing a terrible job. Maybe they're coasting on some good reviews from 10 years ago. Who knows? Yelp has to have a way to filter out what should be seen, what's relevant, what's fake, what's real, but maybe not that important to them. That's not them taking away from you. That's them curating reviews to try and offer the best experience for their user, because that's their goal. They want traffic. They want web traffic. That's where it starts. It's not really at their core that they want your money. They want web traffic, because if they have enough web traffic, they can get your money. But if they have your money and they're doing it through ways that doesn't benefit Yelp users, then eventually they won't have the users, and then they won't have your money. So you have to understand their intent here. Their intent is to give the users the best experience possible. And the way they do that is by curating what reviews get seen and which ones get shown and which ones don't. Okay. So, when you look at it through that perspective, hopefully you can understand that they're not taking anything away from you. It's for their users. So Rodney said, thanks for sharing all this great information. Rodney, thank you for watching. I hope to have you on here one day and kind of, get to know you and, get some wisdom from you. Liz said, one thing is don't pay Yelp. Okay, so here's the deal. When you're able to bring your profile to a point that you're able to get enough, you're able to see that there is value in there because you're standing out. You have reviews, you have pictures. People are picking you over the other person on Yelp. Then advertising will unlock some features that get you more exposure, and then will also give you ad placement at the top. So that will bring you additional business. Now, if you have a not so good Yelp profile and you advertise it, you're advertising a not so good Yelp profile. That's not going to bring you more business. But there is a point that advertising can bring you more business potentially. Okay. Now, at the same token, if you bring your business to the #1 spot on Yelp, meaning you're killing it, you have tons of reviews, you have tons of pictures, people are ranting and raving about you, and you don't pay, then you don't really need to pay. Paying could get you a little, but it might be a waste of money because Yelp users typically are looking for the businesses that stand out. So as long as you're standing out, you're doing it. And sometimes advertising can help you stand out. Sometimes you can do it completely organically. So Andrew said the problem with Google reviews is they need a Google account to leave one. And a lot of older customers in big homes get confused trying. So Andrew, you're looking at that as a problem. How is that a problem? Okay, certainly not everybody's going to be able to leave you a Google review, but that's not a problem. That's just something that happens. So when you ask 10 people to leave your review, maybe 4 of them aren't going to have a Google account. Maybe some of them are older. Maybe some of them aren't. Maybe some of them will follow the instructions, but I know it works. I know it worked because my company built a big part of the business on positive reviews, on standing out. Because once those reviews come, it's a snowball effect. So you can't look at that as a problem, okay? Because your option is no review, Google review, Yelp review, okay? So when you look at it like that, no review, like Google doesn't really, it's not a problem because again, if that's a problem, then well, isn't no review a problem? No review is a way bigger problem than some people not being, not being able to leave a review. So that's just why you want to make it important. And again, it takes asking everybody in the correct manner to get a percentage of those people to leave you the review. It's not going to be everybody. It's going to be a percentage. The percentage is going to change. It's going to change based on your demographic. It's going to be of client. It's going to change based on your demographic of where you live. But it doesn't matter. You want to seize the best percentage possible and convert that percentage into reviews. Because again, if only, let's just say you say, hey, in my area, nobody really uses reviews. They're all elderly and this and that. Okay, well, what if you can only get 1 out of 20 to leave your review? Okay, you're working hard. You get 1 out of 20. Well, what's your competition getting? 0 out of 20? So now you're getting 1 out of 20. He's getting 0 out of 20. Before you know it, you're going to have 100. He's going to have 0. He or she'll have 0. So you can't be discouraged by somebody who doesn't have a good review. You have to be consistent so that you're, getting in front of those people who do have a Google account that can leave you a Google review. Jason said, do you feel strongly that Home Advisor is worthwhile? I'm 100% certain, with 100% certainty, Home Advisor is worthwhile. Now, just like any tool, it's not going to just like, you don't like get Tint Wiz and money shows up at your door. You don't sign up for Home Advisor and customers all start banging on your door either, okay? What happens with Home Advisor, it's a place to get leads, okay? Some of those leads are exclusive leads and they'll come to just one company. Sometimes they're shared leads and they're offered to 3 or 4 companies that are willing to pay a reduced amount, okay? Now, Home Advisor has the same effect that I just mentioned with Yelp. Home Advisor leads are coming in because those people trust Home Advisor. They feel that Home Advisor can be their credible source to find out who's the good company, who's the bad company. And one of the ways Home Advisor does that is they attach a rating to your profile, okay? They add a bio, pictures, BBB certificates, accreditations, and so on. And you have to keep that in mind. So if you sign up for Home Advisor and at the end of the day, you just call those numbers that Home Advisor sent to you, you're going to feel like it's a waste of your time and money, for sure. Okay. But if you fill out your profile, you make it look attractive, you add pictures, you really do everything you're supposed to do with that Home Advisor profile. When people submit their lead, if you're back to them within a few minutes, you're polite, you offer them a free consultation, you do everything top notch, you're going to start to get those reviews and you're going to see the same snowball effect I mentioned with Yelp happen with Home Advisor as well. Okay. So don't believe, people, when they say Home Advisor doesn't work, you have to get the whole story. Well, how long did it take you to call the Home Advisor leads? Were you offering a consultation? How'd you sound? Were you nice and friendly? Did you call the day later? Do you have any pictures on your Home Advisor? Is it a brand new account? How long have you been doing it? Do you have any reviews yet on Home Advisor? You have to find those things out because a lot of times, you hear that loud voice, Home Advisor sucks, but you don't find anything about how they utilized it. Okay. So it's all about the tool. A knife in your hand can do a lot of things, right? Or like any sort of tool, a screwdriver. A screwdriver can build somebody's house or, it can poke a hole in your wall. It's really about how the person uses that tool. It's going to dictate, the results that come out of it. So I 100%, suggest Yelp, suggest Home Advisor, and there's a lot of good ones on there. Liz also said Yelp has a really strict guidelines on their reviews and their algorithms change all the time. So people can't figure out what what it is and why you'll see some reviews disappear, reappear on Yelp, and then others will be taken away. That's exactly right. So Yelp's goal, again, going back to their goals, they want to provide valuable reviews to their readers. The way to do that is they have to make sure that businesses can't game the system, because once businesses game the system, then you're not letting the best rise to the top. And that's what Yelp wants. They just want the best to rise to their top so that their users continue to trust Yelp to bring them the best. Okay, so Liz is right. They're constantly changing their algorithm and the way they shuffle reviews, and that is on purpose. That's going to continue to happen, and that's why it's not about gaming the system. It's about working the system the right way, doing the right thing, doing the things that Yelp wants you to do, because that shows a positive customer experience for their viewers, and that's how to get in front of Yelp and make the most of it. So Chad said everyone should get on TikTok. That place is crazy and super hot. Just be everyone and use all the platforms. They are free. So TikTok's definitely a great place to jump on right now. You're going to find that your content is going to get way more views on TikTok than it would on Instagram. I mean, not even comparable. There's a lot of eyes on TikTok. Who knows where it's going to go? But Chad's right. Right now, the eyes are on TikTok, and that's a great place to go and market your business. Just, one thing I recommend is try to find ways to narrow down that audienceship and really get in front of the type of people who could potentially turn into your customer. Because while it is really cool to get thousands and thousands of views, and that can have a long-term benefit on its own, at the end of the day, you're spending your time today, next month, the month after that, and so on. And it's nice when you can get a benefit out of that, and not just necessarily build a nationwide audience or people in other countries watching, but really actually start to capitalize on it. Because if you can get some sort of a benefit immediately from it, then that's going to give you the resources and that energy and invigorate you to pursue it even further, invest more time, invest more money, and grow that avenue for you. So Liz said Yelp is geared towards restaurants where people will leave lengthy reviews about food they ate and their unique experience. It's not geared towards our type of industry. Liz, I disagree with you there. I understand that it's definitely valuable with food and so on, but I think really Yelp transcends over all industries. It's a review platform now. I think a platform to me that stands out as one that's really geared towards restaurants is a platform like Groupon. Groupon to me is a way for companies to say, hey, we can get people in our door. Let's get people in our door. Doesn't matter if we lose a little money. Doesn't matter if we break even. It really doesn't matter. We'll probably break even on them. But we're going to get them to taste our food. We're going to get them to experience our service, and we're going to get them back. Okay. Or maybe they even buy other services beyond that Groupon. So it might be for like an appetizer, and then we're going to get them on dinner and so on. The same idea goes for like a nail salon or a hair salon or, a coffee shop, these types of places where they're trying to get you repeat business, because once they can get you in the door, they're going to get you back in the door. Now, window tint to me, not really that type of business. Of course, we're going to all get repeat business, but it's not going to happen as consistently. People don't change cars every week. You get your home tinted once until you move, and you're not moving every week and so on. So to me, Groupon is a losing game as a tint company, unless you're very good at getting them in the door at such a cheap cost and then upselling them without them feeling pressured. So I think Yelp is great for all, but that's the great thing is we don't all have to agree. And I appreciate your opinion on that. So Chad M5 said, Daniel Puentes, I get millions of views when I have a new account. I have no idea. But that's how it works. It's because there's a lot of people on it right now. So there's a lot of people on it. There's not a lot of advertisers. The way these platforms start off is they have to give you exposure. They have to get content in front of you so you can be entertained, and they want to get your content in front of others so they can be entertained and you can feel engaged, right? And then once they build that consistency and that engagement, now you're hooked, right? And now little by little, you'll start to see that engagement level drop little by little by little by little. And more you're going to see sponsored ads and paid posts and ways that they're capitalizing on that attention and getting you to pay for it. And then if you fast forward, you kind of end up where we are today on like Instagram, where you have a very narrow reach with your subscribers. You may have 100,000 subscribers or followers on Instagram. You may have thousands of people on your Facebook account, and when you post it, you end up with 30 people seeing it, or 100 people seeing it, or 200 people seeing it. And you really need to invest money into the platform to get that distribution. So that's why with Tint Wiz on Facebook, most of our posts, if not all the posts, you're going to see them sponsored on your page. That is because there's no other way to get them in front of you without paying, because if I only just post them, they're only going to show them to a select few. They're not going to show them to everybody, and there's not much you can do about them. That's the whole game. And that's why it's so valuable to jump on these platforms when the attention is there and you're in the early stages, because that allows you to capitalize them during those early stages. Because just like TV, just like radio, just like billboards, just like Facebook, just like everything, the attention shifts, and things get monetized and prices go up and so on. So everything gets gamed and worked. If you were on Yelp 8 years ago, you were going to have a bigger benefit. If you were on Facebook 10 years ago, you could potentially have a huge benefit just from organic posts. But things change, you adapt with them. That's why it's really important to always keep an open mind, because you never know what you don't know. You never know what's changed, and you should always be open to learning, because that's how you spot the real opportunity. So Daniel said the shops around here are established 5 years plus and average 44 reviews on their Google. I attained 114 reviews in 1 year, less than 1 year, just by asking and attaching a link. Okay, so you have established businesses around Daniel with 44 reviews. He said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make it a point to get as many reviews as possible. I'm going to treat every customer, correctly. I'm going to send them a review link. I'm going to make it easy for him. And he was able to get 114 reviews in 1 year, while these companies got 44 reviews in, who knows, 5+ years, he's saying. Do you understand how a new guy can come in, or a new woman, a new person can come in and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do things how you're doing them. I'm not going to take that for granted. I'm not going to go the automated way. I'm going to go after it because I see how important it is. And now Daniel has over double the reviews of his competition. So when people are searching, they're finding Daniel. Right? Who's the best? Well, it's got to be the guy with all these 5-star reviews, right? There's a reason why he has them. And there is a reason why he has them, because he's a hustler. He cares. He's going after it. And he wants to earn the customer's business. And that's the right circle, because the customers want people like Daniel that want to earn their business. They don't want to see old reviews or just what happened by accident. They want that extra. You can give it that extra. That's how the markets are. That's how free markets are. So go out and get it. Don't worry about what your customers are doing. Use them as a benchmark for how you can double, how you can triple. How many pictures do they have on Yelp? What'll happen if you get 50 more pictures than them? They have 50. What if you have 100? They have 100. What if you have 1,000? Try it. See what happens. That's how you get ahead. Daniel, that's so freaking awesome. And I just want to bring up, Daniel had a post a couple weeks ago. I brought this up before, but he's in Subway providing a quote, walking the streets door to door, drumming up business. And it's not about the one thing you do. It's about how you apply that mentality across everything you do, because that's going to open those doors for opportunity in ways that you just don't know. You just don't know until you do them. And there's no right or wrong way. So let's see here. We're just about an hour mark. This may be a good place to kick it off. But I'm still down for any questions. So if you have any questions, let's stay in here just for a few more minutes. And something I do want to mention, something that's exciting, we haven't announced it on our Facebook or anything yet, is the Tint Wiz app is now available in the Google Play Store. So the way the Tint Wiz app works, first of all, is you can access it anywhere there's internet, on any device. So anywhere, anytime, you can start on your computer, get up, pick up from your phone, go to the library, log in there, work on it, then pick up a tablet in your shop. Everything works together through the internet, okay? Think of it like your Facebook app, okay? You can go on Facebook from anywhere you want, and you're able to connect. It's still your profile. All your information's there, and you can just pick up where you left off, right? Tint Wiz is the same way. You can do it from tintwiz.com. You can log in anywhere. You can bookmark that, and you can easily access it. Now, if you're using an Android or an iPhone, what's easier than downloading the app to your phone? It's an easy way to get the app. You have it saved on your phone. You click the little button and you're good to go. Previously, the app is available exclusively in the Apple iTunes Store. As of today, it's also available in the Google Play Store. So for your Android device, you can go ahead and download it. That's going to be the easiest way to open it. It just takes 1 second. You click it, you're open, you're looking at your numbers, you're looking at your schedule. You can hit add a contact, and as you're on the phone, you just start entering the information. That's how easy it is. Once you enter the information, it's pretty intuitive from there. And if you have any questions, we have a live support that we monitor almost 24/7. We have users across the world. I'm not sure how many countries, but I know a lot of different time zones, Australia, the UK, and that means that we have to be efficient with our customer support. It's something we take extremely seriously, and we want to get you an answer within minutes of you asking, if not seconds. So we do have a live chat on there. You just go to the support. When you access our live chat, you're talking to one of us. You're talking to somebody who knows this system intimately, uses it every single day, had a part in developing it. So you're going to get the absolute best and correct answer in the quickest amount of time by using that support. With that said, it's pretty darn intuitive. I made it that way because, again, I made this program originally for my company that I no longer have. And because it was for my company, something I didn't want to do was I didn't want to have to train a bunch of installers, a bunch of admin, and a bunch of consultants how to use it. Because if I wanted to train them on a complicated CRM, there's plenty of complicated CRMs out there that require a bunch of training. And there's no time for that. So I wanted something that I understood. I don't want something that I need a manual to understand or I need to watch videos to understand. I just want to be able to go in. I want to see the big buttons. I want to hit the bright colors. And that's why even the contact button, that's your place to start. It's big, bright green button. It's in the center of the app. You hit it. You start to add your customer's information. You pick, is this a residential, a commercial, an automotive, a marine customer, and you go from there. You can schedule your events. You can add pictures. You can add measurements, dimensions, film types, and so on, and go from there. So easy peasy, but if you have questions, use our live chat, or you can also drop comments in these videos or any one of our videos, and of course, we're going to answer them. So I think that's it. I don't see any new questions coming in. I do appreciate everybody for watching. This has been such a monumental week for Tint Wiz. The amount of activity we had on the app, the amount of activity we've had on Facebook, the amount of activity we've had on our Tint Wisdoms, it's overwhelming in a great way, and it's really just exciting. It's an exciting way to start 2020. We have an incredible amount of things you're going to see popping up over the app in the next month and 2 months, and I'm just super jazzed and really appreciate everybody, including everyone who's contributed through comments, through watching, through views, through being a guest on here, every which way, sharing this. It really is. This is shaping into it's shaping into a community. It's shaping into, a result of everyone coming together and using all our knowledge together. And that's a beautiful thing. So I really, really appreciate it. And I'm really excited about what's to come. So thank you, everyone. And actually, before I go, Jason Thomas said, what's the price per month for the software? So the price per month, great question. The software comes with a 30-day free trial. So you can start up, it just takes your email and your name, and you're using it for 30 days, okay? Now, at the end of the 30 days, if you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't get a chance to use it, okay? I didn't even get a chance and whatnot. Maybe you signed up for a free trial 6 months ago, okay? Shoot us a message, we'll extend the free trial. You let us know how long you need it for free. Shoot us a message in our support, we'll adjust your free trial. Use it until you're fully integrated and comfortable. Now, after that, the software is $100 per month, okay? $100. Now, what that gets you every single feature of Tint Wiz. That gets you unlimited usage of it. You can add as many staff to the software as you'd like. So you can include as many installers, consultants. You can add as many projects. You can add as many pictures, as many videos. This is a place you store everything about your clients forever, okay? And that total price for everything per business is only $100, okay? So it's just that $100. You can't spend more for your one business than $100, no matter how many employees you add, no matter how many projects you add, and so on, okay? So it's $100 per month. Now, with that said, there's no contracts, there's no upsells, there's no membership to sign up to. There's a button on your account. You go in there, you sign up, you say, hey, I want to use this. You put in your credit card information, you start your paid account. If you say, I no longer want to use this, you go ahead and you hit deactivate. There's a button on your account. You don't have to contact anyone. Just deactivate, boom, easy peasy, done. That's how easy it is. We made it easy because it should be easy. You should want to use this because it's incredibly valuable for your business. You're not going to get stuck using something that you feel trapped in. There's no way. This is the opposite. So it's really easy to get started. It's $100 a month. You can import and export your information. So what that means is if you are using something now that allows you to export information out, we can import it into Tint Wiz. You can do that through your contacts area, through your invoices area on your own, or we can do it for you completely free. Just hit us up in support and we can do it. With that said, if you say, hey, I want to get some information from Tint Wiz and maybe put them in another software I use or for some other reason get them out, you can actually actually do that on your own, or we can actually do that for you and send you the file. But there is an export feature in the app as well. And we're increasing the different ways you can export the information and sort the information, because, exporting information is just as important as having it in a system. That's how information's used, and that's part of the value of having that information stored in one central place in an organized manner over time. So it's $100 a month. There's no commitment. Signing up takes just your email and your phone. You don't have to enter any credit card or any personal information. And then when you want to use it, you just go ahead and add your credit card information and go from there. And Jason said he pays more for filmware. You're going to pay more for every software out there. Now, let me tell you, because not every software, but let me tell you why we priced it at $100. Because this is something that when I used it for my company, I just felt I would protect this with any amount of money. I spent a fortune developing the software because it was that important to me. My software was better than a group of employees to me. Of course, we needed the employees to work with the software, but what I'm saying is, if I could say I can afford the software or an employee or two employees, I'd pick the software, because the software just did more than any human can possibly do for you, by far. So with that said, of course, now we're releasing the software to the public. I could say, well, look how valuable the software is. We should charge a lot. Okay, that's not the idea. The idea isn't let's charge a lot and let's really show the value and so on. No. We're in a position now to do something in something game changing. Let's get the software the same way I wanted tri-edges in everybody's hands for free. Let's get the software in everyone's hands for usage at the least cost possible, okay? And let's make that cost not go up as you grow. Because yeah, everybody could start with a low cost for a small company, but what about when you grow? Why should your costs go up astronomically? What kind of overhead and burden does that cause on you if, yeah, it starts off at a few $100s, but then you end up spending thousands of dollars a month? That's how softwares like Salesforce work, and a lot of the other softwares out there, that's how they work. They want to draw you in, but they know they're going to charge you for this, they're going to charge you for that, and so on. That's not how Tint Wiz works, okay? So you get all the features, it's $100, and $100 is an amount that we can continue to support the software, we can continue to develop it, and we can continue to offer it in a perfect way at the lowest possible cost, because I feel like $100, whether you're doing whether you're a one-man band, you're doing mobile tinting in other people's garages, or you have 5 locations, everybody can afford $100, and you're going to see that return out of one customer per month. So that's why it's at $100, because I really felt strongly about, we're not trying to say, look how valuable the software, pay for it. It's look how valuable the software. Let's make a industry level change on how the industry works, and the level of customer service and the level of organization, and change the lifestyle of businesses. You understand? Like, you got to change the lifestyle, because one of the things that was brought up in this video today with Austin, he said, that everyone's goal essentially is eventually you either want to sell your company or you want to pass it down to somebody, right? You either pass it to a family member, you sell it to somebody else. You want to somehow transfer that, right? Or you even just maybe want to hire other people to your business. Well, you can't do that when everything lives in your head. So this is the kind of larger change. It's not just about charging $600 for a Tesla or, sending proposals right on site. Certainly that's an awesome part of it. But really what this is about is, this is a way to give you organization to your business. It's a way to keep you in touch with your business 24 hours a day, whether you're sick at home, whether you're at Starbucks, whether you're tinting a window, wherever you are, you can go ahead and look at your information. You can go ahead and look at what's going on. You can handle your customers efficiently. You can run an efficient business, and you can do it at an affordable rate. So that's why, because once you have systems in place, then, when there's a process in place, when the information lives in Tint Wiz, then somebody else can kind of help you, because they have access. They can see the information. They can help you with it. Somebody you hire, family member, whoever it is, somebody that wants to take over your business, somebody that's going to help you manage your business and so on. When everything lives in you and it's all on your phone, or you've built some complicated process where some things are here and this is how we do it, and yeah, it's complicated, but you'll learn and so on. Well, that only stunts your growth, and it's not pleasant. It's not a fun way to run a business. So to me, Tint Wiz was a way to kind of gamify running a business. I could just open my app and I could see buttons, I could see numbers on it, and it'll show me, well, how much money did we bring in this week? How much money do we have projected for this week? How many consults did they schedule at the office today so far? I can see that. How many calls did we get? How many turned into consults? How many installs do we have scheduled for next week? I can see all those things like that. That becomes a game. It becomes fun. It becomes fun to manage your business, because something that's not fun, trying to pull up reports once a month and then look at reports. Like, really, I want to know who really does that, who really knows their numbers. I mean, really consistently analyzes their reporting and their numbers, regardless of how they track them. I want to know who really checks your numbers, because you know what? That's a boring pain in the butt. But what's fun is opening an app and on a dashboard having your stats pop up live from, and you see, oh, we just scheduled another consult, or oh, we just had another lead come in, and handling your business that way. That's fun. That's engaging. That changes the environment, and that's part of the overall like change to the industry that I know Tint Wiz is going to bring, and that it excites me. That's part of why I wanted to do these live streams, because I want to be able to express this sort of thing. This can't come across in a, you know, in an image on Facebook or through some text. So that's what these videos are about. And yeah. So Daniel said, do you still tint? No, Daniel, this is my full-time gig. So when we sold the tint company in December of 2008 was when, you know, we changed hands. Since then, Tint Wiz has been my 100% focus. This is what I do every day, whether I'm creating content or whether we're working on new features or whether we're providing support. Tint Wiz is my 24/7, 7 days a week, 365. And I wanted it that way. I love it. And yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where the opportunity came up and I said, wait a second, what's my favorite part of this business? Well, my favorite part was what we were doing with the app, because I loved it. I mean, everybody who worked with us loved us. We had companies, our employees all came from other companies. Most of them were installers or consultants at other companies. And when they would come over, they would go on and on about, do you believe I used to have to drive to the company I worked at and pick up a piece of paper in the morning and find out what I was going to have to do for the day? Do you know how much easier this is? Do you know how great this is? You know how easy it was? I was saying for me to hire installers, because they would tell, you know, they would spread the word. Oh, I get my jobs on my app. I don't even have to go to the office. And then you'd get, hey, I used to work with so-and-so. I'd love to, do you guys hiring? Because it's like fun. It's fun for everybody. It takes away frustration points when, you know, somebody in the company is talking to a customer and they don't have all the information on the job. And what is their option? Oh, okay, we're going to have, I'll check with so-and-so and we'll give you a call back, or I'll have so-and-so call you back. Instead, they can handle it right then on the phone. They can go, oh yeah, I see that picture. Yep, I see exactly what you're talking about. Okay, here's the measurement, or that film. Okay, I know which one was quoted, or anything. You can pull it right up in there and there, and that makes the difference. So, yeah, 24/7, I freaking love it. And that's it. So yeah. Kind of an end note on that subject was, you know, it became the thought of being able to influence and grow a large amount of tint industries through this sort of thing, through these videos, through the software, through technological advancements. The thought of everyone being elevated sounded way better to me than trying to be on top of a mountain as I'm the best tint company. I'm the best tint company in the country. Look how much I've sold. I feel like, okay, cool. That's fun for like a day, but that's like a lonely way to live. It would be way more fun, you know, because a lot of people say, hey, where did this guy come from? I haven't heard from him. Well, I haven't heard of him. You know, he's just starting to come out on Facebook and so on. I've been part of the groups forever. I've been part of the groups for years and years. Like I appreciate every single group because I've learned so much from the groups. Okay. But I've only really become active in, you know, being so vocal and trying to get this information out there over the last year after that transition. So, you know, I'm very happy to be in the position to be able to do that, and I'm not going to let it go. This is what we're going to do. And like I've said on previous videos, this is year one of about a 20 to 30 year process, a 20 to 30 year plan. So, you know, I'm very excited. This is just the very trickle of the beginning of what's to come. And I think, you know, the journey we're all going to go on together. So that may be a good spot to end it. I really appreciate everybody who watching this video, everybody for joining this week. I mean, I really can't say thank you enough. We'll be back on this Tuesday and Tuesdays and Thursdays. This week we did a Wednesday, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen every week or so on. But I'm really glad it happened this week. Any videos you've missed, they always live on our Facebook page. They also get posted to our YouTube, Tint Wiz on YouTube. They then they also go on iTunes. So we're on iTunes if you want to listen to them, because listening can be a great way, listening in ear pods and not having to watch or while you drive. They're in Google Podcasts and they're on SoundCloud and Spotify. So, you know, whatever works for you. I appreciate the listens. I appreciate the feedbacks, the comments, and you know, thank you all for, you know, contributing to this community. And let's keep doing it. We're all in this together, and let's make it a fun place and a fun time for us. So we'll see you on Tuesday, and have a great evening.